Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are very happy to a special guest this evening. Sam, would you introduce our guest?
Steve Dice. He's the sports editor at the News Examiner, and I spend a lot of time with him during the winter months at various basketball venues.
Each other company, do you?
Yeah, a little bit. And, the bowl, he usually sits next to me, and a lot of times on the road he sits next to me, and we share some information, so
from time to time
it's a good thing. And
Steve, welcome to the show. First time to have you on, and really appreciate you coming. Assess the Spartan schedule so far, their season.
Well, the Spartan season, they play a very difficult schedule. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They play a lot of tough 4A schools, and our conference is not they're not pushovers. Mm-hmm. So, but they've competed very well against conference competition. They were in that East Central game until the end, and they were in the Greensburg game, and the non-conference schedule is top-notch and very difficult.
The important thing is the kids have never given up.
I think that's true, and they come out and play every game, and they've shown at times that they're capable of playing as a team, and I think at times they've run into competition that they've just not matched up well with.
Yes. Sam, you agree?
Yeah, I do. I talk to Coach Mack a lot, and he tells me that practices are usually pretty good, and somehow games are different. But many times it's hard to simulate what you may see in the actual game.
Yes.
So kids are trying, but it's a new system they're learning, and I think everybody has to be patient. They have to be patient. Coaches have to be patient, and as well as the fans. And so far, I think fans they still come to the bowl, and they still love coming.
I think they should have a good crowd on Friday for the Franklin County game.
Franklin County will probably bring several, and
it's
one of those rivalry
boys-girl dance?
Boy-girl dance is then, and I understand, I think that it's going to be done after the game, and then they're going to do it again halftime of the Northeastern game a week from Tuesday. So people have a couple opportunities to see them.
It's quite a show.
Sandy does an amazing job with that.
Yes.
That's worth the price of admission just to see that.
Yeah, it seems like they have a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
Games remaining. We're counting down here. We've got 5, 4,
3.
4 guaranteed.
4 guaranteed.
They got Franklin County and Lawrenceburg.
Okay.
We'll round out the conference schedule. They'll have Northeastern at home, and then we'll see who they play
sectional time.
Sectional.
Right.
We've seen the IHSA has decided that they want to do the sectional the way they do it with the blind draw, and I've seen it help people. I've seen it help the football team. I've seen it help the girls basketball team. I've seen it harm people. The boys basketball team the last 2 years had very difficult draws.
But it is it's the way it's been done all these years. So, other than now it's broken up into class, but
I mean we can maybe that they've had such difficult draws the last couple of years when they've had such good regular seasons. Maybe we can we can get a favorable draw this year.
Right, maybe. Hope so. Although there are no easy teams in the conference, I don't think. There's some with better records or lesser records, but come tournament time, we always talk about the old cliches. You throw the record out the window and you start over, and really you do. So my biggest disappointment is that 2 years in a row the sectional is not at Spartan Bowl, and it should be there at least every other year.
I would agree with that. I think it's a great venue. I don't know how they choose sectional.
Well, I'm not sure either. I understand that other schools can veto where it's being held, which I don't quite understand, and then the IHSAA would come in and decide. So I don't know. Newcastle has one every year, and it's only because they have the largest gym in the state. But is that right? According to the people, we have the best.
Well,
the best in the state.
And I'm sure there's some other factors that go into it as well. Parking, perhaps. Road networks. Newcastle's just right off I-70.
Yeah.
Greensburg's off I-74.
I understand.
There's a lot of schools in that area that are considerably closer to Greensburg than they are to Connersville.
But it doesn't seem to matter with girls, because this year we went clear to Lawrenceburg for the girls. And those of us on the northern end of the conference here, Rushville and us, that's quite a trip.
Well, I went down to cover the Franklin County girls too, because we cover Connersville, Franklin County, Union County, and Cambridge City, or at least we're supposed to. I try to do the best I can, but I would have much preferred it to been at home or Rushville or anywhere,
Franklin
basically,
County,
Franklin County or
closer.
even East Central would have been preferable, but it's the way it's shaken out.
And you cover these other area schools and by yourself. And it didn't used to be that way. Newspaper business has changed, so it's a lot to do, I'm sure.
It can be. I'm sure I could be more efficient at it. And I get some help. I've got some great photographers who help me out. So, but no, I, for the most part, am on my own. Most of our freelance budget is taken up with photography because that's what people want anyway. They don't. So, the more photographs we can print, the better.
We do a great job.
Well, thank you. I
Really
appreciate
do.
that. I appreciate that.
Considering the location of the tournaments, let's just say it's politics, like so many things.
It is.
Or,
I think that's probably accurate.
I think it is.
speaking of that, I should say, I understand that they are experimenting maybe with the football 6A class going to a seating arrangement instead of a blind draw. Yeah, for the 6A.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's a rumor floating around. The ICA is going to perhaps try that. So that'd be interesting.
I think other states do that.
Yeah, I think they do. I think Kentucky does. When we were supposed to go play Simon Kenton down there, we had to take a forfeit because they have a ranking, a seeding system. It's points based. So they couldn't just not play. They had to get a result.
I see.
So because they have a points-based ranking system. In 6A, I don't know how many schools are in 6A. I think
all the top ones.
Well,
probably a handful,
16,
maybe.
Indianapolis, Fort Wayne.
That's right. That's about it.
I don't know how far south they go. There may be some Evansville schools in there.
I don't
Seeding 1 through 16, and then having someone have to go from Fort Wayne to Evansville for a sectional game would be a little difficult. I think probably why they don't want to do it with the other classes. I know we wouldn't.
I think most of them, of the 6A, is Metro Indy.
I think so too. I think there's a couple others.
Maybe Penn or somebody up north. But.
There may be some in the region, and that would be, I think, anyone who needed to come from up near Maryville or Valparaiso, Chesterton, those areas, Lafayette, they may have.
Yes.
Yeah.
But most of them are in Indy, I think. So if you're only going across town to play somebody, that's one thing. If I thought East Central having to go to Evansville for their regional was, but they seem to handle it just fine. So.
Yeah, they came home with the big hardware.
They're pretty
Class
good.
4A. They are pretty good. Steve, how did you get into this business?
Well, I studied journalism in college, not sports writing. I think I took one sports writing class. It was mostly news, and by the time I was graduating, I decided I didn't really care for the news industry, so I did a few other things here and there. Worked at a bookstore for a while, and moved back to Connersville, and then Grady retired. He had been doing it forever. I hadn't really considered high school sports, I guess. Maybe I should have. I enjoy it a great deal. I know that I was always a little more interested in college and pro sports, and my interest in college and pro sports has waned right around the time that my opportunity to do this has come along. So took this job when, well, it was Maddie. Grady retired, and then Maddie
Hofer.
Yeah, she did it for about a year, and then that job came open,
and here you are.
Yeah, I thought I was working. I was assistant manager at Eastside Pizza King at the time, and I thought that job came open at the newspaper that I'd
give it
take
a try.
If I was, I knew I thought I'd be well suited for it. I think so.
Worked out well. Have you a shot clock fan going back to basketball?
Shot clock? No.
No. Okay.
Not in high school.
Okay.
I mean, it hasn't bothered me if they decide they want to do it, and I expect they probably will.
Right.
I'd be okay with it. I don't know that. Honestly, I didn't know that high school didn't have a shot clock until I started covering. Until I started covering sports, I just assumed that they did.
Surprise.
Yeah, everybody else does. I'm okay without it. I think I'd be okay with it.
I think it's funny how they just keep tinkering with the game, though. I mean, we've had a lot of changes over the years. You know, the big change this year was the free throws.
Free throws.
Starting over every quarter, and when you get to 5, you shoot 2. No more 1-on-1.
No more 1-on-1, and you reset every quarter. I think that allows some people to be more aggressive. It does make it hard to come back. You don't have the pressure of the 1-on-1. I think the reset at the fourth quarter sort of benefits the team that's leading, because you have to get those fouls and make sure you don't foul the guys out that you want, or gals, I suppose. But you don't want to foul out your main players trying to get them to the line.
You mentioned gals, and we'll go back to basketball a little bit. Lady Spartans had a very good season, I think.
Very good year.
And you've been with them several years now, and there was a marked improvement.
I think so. I think they were getting better at the end of last year, but I think they've improved a great deal. And I think some of the parents were happy when they beat New Pal. I think they would have been content at that point just to get the one win against New Pal, and they beat Mount Vernon, who I played for. They won their sectional. They beat New Pal in their sectional.
Yes.
Franklin County, I think they were happy with that win. They were happy with the East Central and Rushville, both. Had been very good for a long time. So, and I know Anaya Bennett is all conference. So good for her.
Congratulations to her. She's quite the athlete, and will be competing in the state again for track and field.
I expect that she will. I expect she will.
Speaking of New Pal, we have some tape from the Spartans' New Pal game, which did not go very good for the Spartans, but we'd like to review right now some of the plays from that game, the Spartans and New Palestine.
Here we are, we're down 6-0 already, and Eric Williams in with a nice shot.
Yeah, you fellas can narrate that.
Yeah, and good pass inside to Blaine. And there were
That's
several.
nice too.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
They have their moments.
They do. Moments when they look really good, and Hunter with a big 3 right there, but New Pal just kept building that lead.
They have a couple of, I saw after the fact that Gizzy, I believe his name was, that he has 600 points this year, and one of the other players' names escapes me, but he's leading them. They're maybe the school leader in assists. And I think we've seen this coming from New Pal. They've been good for the last couple of years.
Yes, they have. They have some real scorers.
And the Gizzy, seems like there's a lot of Gizzys, boys and girls, and mother was the coach, and the girls, they're just tremendous athletes. But tidbit here that going into the game on Saturday night, New Pal had never beaten Connersville on their floor, on New Pal's floor, until, and of course there's always first time for everything, so it happened. Now, I do want to give some kudos to freshman team, they won in overtime, and JV team lost in overtime, and that just became a game of attrition there because we had a couple foul out and one guy go down hurt. But we were right in that game, and they played as well as I've seen them play. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
The JV.
Yeah, and I think we kind of get a look at what we can expect next year. I think we saw they had reserves in at the end of the game last night, and those are mostly the JV players with Xander McHenry as a junior. The JV team, I think, has played well this year. The freshman team has played well this year. So I think it's just it's been quite the adjustment for the varsity. I think they just some of them have just it's an unfortunate time to be a senior. I think
it is, but they have played hard, and I think when they look back, they'll be glad that they have played, and much better to look back and say that, yes, I've played than to have given up and not played.
Yes. Yep. And they show up there, and I think every time they go out, I think they can compete.
Yeah. Well, you look at the Columbus North game, I thought probably the best game they played all year.
Well, the Columbus North game was good. I thought that they were very competitive in the Shelbyville game, but they were competitive in the Delta game. It's a little confounding. I'm not sure. There's a lot of points in the paint, a lot of layups that hopefully maybe some of the inside matchups with the games we got going forward and with our sectional opponents aren't quite as daunting as the 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" kids.
Yeah, we've been outsized in
D1
most every
players.
game.
You know, the Richmond kid's going to Butler, and I looked to see where the other kid was going. He's a junior. Horton is a junior, so he'll go somewhere, but not until after next year.
That probably makes you happy he's going to Butler, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
You being a Butler
I am. Butler alum. I wasn't. They fell on hard times there, but I think Matt has got them turning them around. I think they've had some really good wins this year, and hopefully they'll get back in the tournament.
Yeah.
Fans have to be patient.
Yes, sir.
It takes a while.
It does take a while, and you're bound to have cycles like this.
That's right.
Sure.
Last year's senior class had a lot of athletes in it for all the sports, didn't they? I mean, they had kids that really did well in all the sports.
You know, I think everyone I talked to knew that the football team was going to be good by Connersville standards, and they were. The basketball team was good. The spring sports swept their sectionals.
That's amazing.
Only Connersville and Penn are the only two schools in the state that did that. They had a great senior class.
Yes.
And baseball had won 2 sectionals in a row. Track, the boys and girls track are like 5 and 6, I think.
So as you say, it works in cycles.
It does.
Yes.
Well, and I think the boys basketball has had such sustained success for so long. I think it was bound for something like this to happen eventually.
But they'll be back.
They will.
Yeah. Hopefully next year is the beginning of the comeback.
Well, it's not. This year's not over yet. I think Coach Mack said the other day, if they win sectional, I think nobody's going to remember some of these tougher games. And I think they can. I think it's a very winnable sectional. There's no
a break here and a break there.
I mean, you know, it's not like it's the girls, for example. I think our girls could have won the game against Lawrenceburg. I don't think anyone in that section was going to beat Greensburg. No. They were head and shoulders above everyone else in there.
Yes.
The boys sectional, I don't think that's the case. I don't think there's a dominant team in there. So, and we'll see what happens with Lawrenceburg. But we've seen the last couple of years what happens to the regular season. It doesn't matter. They've beaten both of those teams.
Last year we were favored, and it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Sports this week at CHS on Monday. Shelbyville will be coming to Connersville to take on the gymnastics team in a meet at 6:30, and that's the final meet
before
for the gymnastics
for the
team.
sectional, yeah.
Right, for the sectional. So good luck to those folks. On Tuesday, the middle school will be playing at Greensburg at 5:30, and the girls' middle school will be playing at home with Hagerstown. And then on Wednesday, the middle school girls' red basketball will be at New Pal at 6 o'clock. And beginning in the middle of the week, it will be the wrestling and swimming tournaments will be coming up. And Sam, you know a little bit about the swimming team.
Yeah, we'll be making a trip. Steve, I'm sure will be over there too. He usually is.
We'll probably be there on Saturday.
Okay, we're going. Swim sectional is at New Pal, and it's the girls have had theirs, and now the boys. During the season, it's co-ed, but come tournament time,
Right, they split them.
They split them up. So, I want to wish the boys swim team the best.
Yes.
My grandson Cooper, he's his senior year,
Right.
and looking forward to getting to go see him swim one more time.
People wonder why New Pal has it. It's because they have 8 lanes.
They have a beautiful pool.
Yes,
Beautiful pool,
Connersville's the 6.
They just keep building on over there, different things. So. Yeah, we're a little outdated. That's why we don't get a sectional there.
That's right.
New Pal's not too bad of a trip.
No, it's right around the corner, it seems like. On Friday, the Spartan basketball will be home with Franklin County at 6 and 7:30. On Saturday, Spartan basketball at Lawrenceburg at 6 and 7:30. We might take a minute here and talk about spring sports, which is right around the corner. Varsity baseball starts March the 20th at home with Shenandoah at 5:30. And JV baseball opens April the 1st at Batesville.
That's no fooling either on April 1st. I said, and that's no fooling on April 1st. That was pretty bad,
Sam.
Fran. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. And the JV baseball opens on April the 1st, as we mentioned, and then the freshman baseball begins on April the 6th in a doubleheader home with Centerville. Boys golf opens on March the 30th at Edinburgh Invitational. Girls tennis opens April the 2nd at home with Newcastle. Softball, March 21 is their opening with a scrimmage at Centerville. April 2, they'll be home with East Central as they begin the regular season. And JV softball will be at East Central on April the 2nd. Track and field opens on March the 9th with an indoor meet at East Central. Boy. So, Steve, you got your pencils sharpened up? I mean, it's going to be here before you know it. Spring sports, can you believe it?
I can. As a couple years that I'm usually there is a period between the end of boys basketball and the beginning of spring sports when there's not a whole lot going on, and that could be a little difficult time.
When you gotta fill pages, that's kind of hard.
Got to come up with something every day.
Well, you do a great job. I mean, the area sports too. You cover that very well.
I'm sorry.
You cover the area sports very well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I try to get around to the other schools.
How many miles you travel in a season?
Oh, I don't know.
You've never stopped to count them?
I should. I'm supposed to, I think, but no, I don't. Wherever I need to go.
You go, huh?
And sometimes 2 or 3 places in the same day.
That has happened on occasion. I think that'll happen on Saturday. I think I'll be making the New Pal to Lawrenceburg circuit. I reckon you probably will too. Do you have to come back first? Do you have to come back to Connersville before you go to Lawrenceburg?
No, I don't. So we'll see what happens. They've got to do well Thursday night to advance to Saturday, as I understand.
Yes.
Yes. So.
Yes. But it's the top
swimming.
16.
Top 16.
You have to be in the top 16 to swim on Saturday. So I think most of them probably will swim on Saturday. Whether they'll be in the championship heat or not, I reckon they'll determine that on Thursday.
Do you have a favorite sport?
No. I mean, I played tennis and ran track, so
Okay.
I'm partial to those.
Sure.
But I like covering basketball. really started to enjoy covering softball. They're really good. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. The girls are very good. Yes, yes.
They are. I
They have
think
a fine facility too. And how's the new baseball field coming along?
it's coming along.
Is it?
They said they wanted to play games there this spring.
Yes.
We'll see how that goes.
That's going to be. I think that I haven't been out by there, but I think that'd be a challenge.
I glanced over there the other day. It may be a challenge, but we'll see. They've still got some time.
Well, they can roll out that sod, and the old thing about green side up, and see what happens. But yeah, it's exciting though. Got to be exciting for the kids to have a new field to play on.
I think it's necessary. I think they've needed it for a while. The JV team's been playing at a couple of different fields.
Yes.
And I think having you just don't want, there's a lot of maintenance that goes into baseball and softball fields. And if you've got varsity, JV,
Freshmen sometimes.
freshmen,
Yes, right.
sometimes middle school,
Yes.
you just can't have 4 or 5 teams all practicing on the varsity field.
We have an excellent softball circuit, don't we?
Yes.
I mean, they've done a good job.
They have. It's a very that area is real nice.
Yes.
The varsity field's real nice, and the JV field is serviceable. I think they play on the varsity field primarily.
When they're not playing at the same time.
And I think they usually don't.
Right.
Baseball does, but I feel like the softball tends to do double headers.
Probably maybe soccer should be addressed. I don't believe our soccer field is regulation, is it?
The coaches like it.
Do they?
They do. They think it gives them a competitive advantage. It's not a football has set
Yes.
parameters on what it has to be. Soccer, it fluctuates.
Okay.
So it has to be a certain width,
Yes.
and it has to be so many feet narrow, or it can only be so wide, same lengthwise. But as long as they fall within the parameters, it doesn't have to be a set size, and they like their field.
Well, that's good.
We've had soccer teams that are very good.
I think the soccer teams are very good. I think the program has been good. I think the boys, they're coming out with the classifications today. I think they're reclassifying the populations of the schools, and because the girls' soccer is 2A, boys' soccer is 3A, because of the number of programs. There's more boys' programs than there are girls' programs. So the girls drop down. They're one of the bigger 2A schools. The boys are one of the smaller 3A schools.
Okay.
So the competition is much more difficult.
Steve, Sam, and I really appreciate you stopping by to bring us up to date on Spartan sports from your angle.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Pen and pencil. So in the future, we're expecting great things out of Spartan sports.
Well, I'll endeavor to do my part.
We have good coaches.
Yes.
Right. Good facilities. So.
And a great fan base.
That's right. Yeah, it's our fans are the envy, I think, of many schools. I really do, the way we travel and everything.
They do travel well. I know that there were many times that our fans will outnumber their fans on the road.
That's right. That's right. Steve, thanks again, and we hope to have you on again shortly.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Have a nice evening.